Ahead of double game week 25, I asked FPL experts for their top transfer recommendations for you to bring in this game week. Before we dive into today's video, if you want to be involved in future FPL experts videos, go to the link in the description. It'll take you straight to my Twitter. Drop me a follow on there. And then when I do put the tweet out next time, you can get yourself involved in these. Starting off, we obviously are going to talk about Liverpool. They are one of the main teams we are going to be targeting this week with the double. I asked my experts which players you should be picking, and they have recommended Jota, Virgil van Dijk, and Bradley, all with their own caveats, of course, and we will talk about every single one of them. Starting off with Diego Jota, obviously he would be my #1 transfer target pick this week if you don't have any Liverpool assets. He is in the purple patch of his life, 4 goals, 3 assists, good underlying data to go with that, and you do feel if Mohamed Salah isn't fit and available for both of these games, Jota is going to see a lot of minutes on the pitch and probably going to come away with at least 1 or maybe even 2 attacking returns this game week. Like I said, in the purple patch of his life, absolutely phenomenal football from him so far since his return from injury and since the Salah injury and obviously him going off to AFCON. He's stepped up to the plate and been Liverpool's main man. Obviously had quite a few price increases as well, and I wouldn't obviously, expect, there's going to be some more happening further down the line. So this one gets the FPL Tom seal of approval from my experts. I really like Jota as a pick. I think he's a great player if you haven't got any Liverpool players for this double game week. Moving over to Virgil van Dijk and Bradley, and I think these two can kind of come together. This is all based on the assumption that Trent Alexander-Arnold's injury is a little bit more serious than feared. Obviously, the quotes from Jurgen Klopp were about his knee and the fact that it's not really holding up. It's the same area. He felt something. They just took it as a precaution. We're still waiting to kind of get official confirmation of what that injury is, the length of the injury, and whether or not he's going to be available for double game week 25. Obviously, if you're like me, you're a Trent owner, sorry. You're going to be looking for maybe another double game week defender. Obviously, we're going to talk about some other ones, but Virgil van Dijk does seem like the most sensible move. It's the Liverpool. You're still getting the same fixtures, but for me, there's very little upside with Virgil van Dijk. As you can see here, you're paying quite a premium price, 6.4 million, for not too much in terms of expected goal involvement, very little in terms of goals and assists over the past 5 game weeks, and points as well. That's probably what we would be expecting, hopefully, from this double game week. 2 clean sheets for Liverpool. If Alisson's not fit and available as well, I would be a little bit skeptical about potentially bringing in Virgil van Dijk. Like I said, I think he's just a solid option, but I think there's very limited upside with this one. I don't think he's like a transfer that's going to get me excited and something that I don't think personally I would do with my team. Like I said, I'm in the same situation as a lot of people. I do have Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Virgil van Dijk, he's just not exciting me, to be honest. On the other hand, though, Bradley is a little bit more exciting. Now, the reason for this, obviously his 2 Premier League games, he's been super impressive. 1 goal, 3 assists, 29 points for him so far. Obviously, he's on compassion leave at the moment with his father passing away, so obviously hopefully we can get him back in the game and get him back playing football as well, because that would be really good for his obviously mental health and all good for his family as well. So hopefully he can come back for this double game week, and if obviously we get the clearance that he is going to be fit and available, Jurgen Klopp said he's back, he's potentially back, that I think would be a very good green signal to potentially go and have a little bit of fun with this pick. 4.1 million, super low owned as well. He would be a massive differential, and if he can put in a performance like he did in his first 2 Premier League games, we could be onto an absolute gem here. But like I said, this one again is all dependent on that Trent injury, and it's all dependent on whether or not Bradley will be back fit. Continuing with the double game week theme, we're going to move over to Brentford, and my experts have recommended, of course, Ivan Toney, Roslev and Reguilon as the 2 defenders. Again, very similar theme. People with Trent, maybe you're just trying to get a defender that plays in 26 and 29 and doubles in 25. I think that is the big advantage of going for the Brentford players. You're going to get at least a double game week, then a blank, like 2 fixtures in the blanks as well. So if you've not got the free hit or are looking to kind of use your free hit and maybe a little bit later, these guys could be excellent value for money. Obviously, starting off with Ivan Toney, 3 goals, 1 assist since his return from his gambling ban. Very impressive performer, to be honest. I think Ivan Toney is the most sensible pick if you were to go for any Brentford players. He takes the penalties, he takes the free kicks. There's always that probability with VAR in the game now that he could just get a very fluky penalty, come away with maybe a double-digit haul for the whole double game week. There's always that possibility as well. All it takes is one penalty decision to go Ivan Toney's way, and you are laughing to the bank. Like I said, you do obviously get blank game week 26 and blank game week 29. He is the main vocal point for Brentford as well. He just is their best attacker. Obviously going to be looking to try and secure that big money summer move as well. So I think for me, he is a very good option if you are looking for a striker. Moving on to the other two, and I think we can kind of pair these two together, Roslev and Reguilon. Reguilon kind of is crossing my mind at the moment, maybe to get Trent out and go Reguilon. Obviously the double game week this week is pretty appalling, and I wouldn't be expecting any sort of clean sheet from either of these two players, but it is that appeal of obviously them playing in 26 and playing in blank game week 29 as well. I think that's where the appeal is. 4.4 million, there's very little risk, but do I feel potentially wasting a transfer on one of these guys? Yes, it is a double, but it's pretty poor for Brentford in terms of doubles. Their expected goals conceded, and the fact that they haven't kept a clean sheet in a long time as well is massively off-putting, to be honest. And I just can't get on board with either of these picks, to be honest. Obviously, Reguilon is the player that I'm potentially thinking about bringing in and might maybe look at getting in for Trent. But other than that, I don't think these two are probably going to be worth it. Obviously, if you need players for 26 and 29, might be worth just maybe getting them in this week. They could be there as then bench options and then obviously playing those game weeks. But for me personally, I don't think either of these transfers excite me either. My good friend Golden Goal Fantasy Football recommended this next topic as kind of a discussion point for today's video. It is going over Arsenal defenders kind of compared to maybe going for Liverpool and Manchester City defenders who do double up. Obviously, if you want to go and check out his content, he's trying to hit 5k by the end of the season like me. So if you do enjoy kind of any of my content, I'm definitely sure you're going to go and love some of his content. Like I said, links to all the guys' channels in the description. As you can see here with the two Arsenal boys, I've gone for Saliba and I've gone for Gabriel. They're probably the two that you would potentially maybe be considering over the past few weeks. I think their scores are obviously elevated with them both picking up a goal yesterday. Gabriel as well, been pretty prolific in front of goal all of a sudden. But I think the main appeal of going for this Arsenal defence, as you can see, is the XG conceded. 3.29 over the past 5 game weeks is absolutely ridiculous. And definitely I think something we should be considering. Like the fixtures as well coming up. These are a great set of fixtures coming up for the Gunners. Arguably, if they had a double game week thrown in there, they would have the best fixture run in the league. Like I said as well, if we excluded the double game week, I think Arsenal as well would still have probably the best set of fixtures excluding double game weeks, because there's some real gems in here, to be honest. So I definitely think Arsenal players are maybe one to consider keeping rather than flogging for maybe a double game week defender. Very similar with the Man City defence at the moment. Obviously, as you can see here, they're doing well for XG conceded, but the problem we're having is the fact that, you know, it's so unpredictable which defender to go for. Obviously, a lot of people gambled on Kyle Walker. He's missed 2 games subsequently to everyone kind of bringing him in, and jumping on the bandwagon. Then obviously this week, Nathan Ake picked up an assist. People are starting to look at him as well. He's played 7 or 8 games, full 90 minutes consistently as well. So there's a lot of players that people are looking at from those defences, and I get obviously they have a double, then they have a good fixture. But realistically, I think if you're looking for a solid team that are just going to keep you up maybe till that game week 30 wildcard, I don't think you can go wrong with either Saliba or Gabriel. If I had to pick between the two, I probably would be leaning slightly more towards Gabriel. He does just have that little bit more threat from set pieces, and Declan Rice at the moment seems like he can whip a ball in. So hopefully, you know, Gabriel and Saliba's kind of returns can definitely continue on that good trend. So I think it's a really interesting topic. So thank you for bringing that to my attention, Golden Goal. Like I said, go and check out his channel in the description. And the final player we're going to talk about today is Kaminski. This one came in from FPL Prem Tipster. Again, another good friend of mine. Go and check out his channel. He's trying to hit 5k by the end of the season. Like I said, go and show these guys some support. As you can see here, Kaminski, he's got the double, hasn't he? He's obviously got the blank in 26. Not a great fixture in 27, but then obviously another double in game week 28. Arguably, is probably one of the best goalkeepers to go and invest in the game right now. You get 2 double game weeks. Obviously, the game week 26 one, not the greatest. Luton potentially still could play in game week 29, so could offer yourself up as a goalkeeper for that one. So I do think if you are on the lookout for a goalkeeper pick, Kaminski is probably a very, very good option. Like I said, doubles this week. If you've got good bench cover, maybe Areola, someone like that to play in 26, it's not the end of the world. It is what it is. So that's always an option as well. So I do think with getting 2 doubles in there and a potential game in game week 29, he could be one of the hottest properties in goal. Obviously, defensively this year and goalkeepers in general, in my personal opinion, haven't been worth a transfer, to be honest. There's been very little upside to owning goalkeepers throughout the year. We've seen flutters of Pickford going to the top of the kind of leaderboard, Onana, then we've seen the likes of Areola pick up some mega scores. It seems very inconsistent with goalkeepers and defenders in whole in terms of clean sheets this year. So I don't personally like going for goalkeeper transfers. I think if you had nothing to maybe do this week, your team's pretty set for game week 26. He could be a really good kind of option to go for with the 2 double game weeks, like we said, coming up, and that potential game in game week 29. The only things that do concern me are Luton's XG conceded. It is the worst in the league over the past 5 game weeks. As you can see, 8.16. So is he realistically going to pick up maybe any points in this double? Maybe 4, 5 if he gets a couple save points? Probably not. It's probably very limited. Like I said, I personally don't like wasting my transfers on goalkeepers. I think you should just set and forget and hope for the best because it's very inconsistent, especially this year. It's super hard to kind of get a goalkeeper with a good run or try and rotate. We've all tried that earlier this season. So I think if you are on the lookout for a goalkeeper, Kaminski is your man, but I wouldn't make this my #1 transfer priority, to be honest. Before we finish up today's video, I just want to say a huge thank you to all my experts. Like I said, if you want to get involved in future videos, go to the link in the description, go to my Twitter, drop us a follow, and you can get a shout out at the end of these videos. If you have enjoyed any of the content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That's the big one, as we're trying to hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and it would be absolutely immense if we could do that. But thank you very much for watching today, ladies and gentlemen, and good luck this game week.